You don't really know how strong you are until being strong is your only option. But here's the truth. You were never created to break. You were built to rise. There is power inside you right now that hasn't even been activated yet. There's resilience, there's faith, there's endurance, there's fight. And no matter what life has thrown at you, no matter how deep the valley or how loud the storm, you are stronger than you think. Ephesians 3:20 says, "Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us." That means the strength you need is not somewhere far away. It's already working in you. You may feel tired, you may feel discouraged, but don't let your feelings lie to you. God's power didn't leave you. His strength didn't skip over you. It's working in you right now. When God designed you, He didn't design you for comfort. He designed you for conquest. He didn't shape you for survival. He shaped you for significance. You're not here just to get by, to make it through, to limp across the finish line. You were created to thrive, to overcome, to walk through fire and not be burned. Look at Gideon in Judges chapter 6. When the angel of the Lord appeared to him, Gideon was hiding, afraid, unsure of himself. But the angel didn't call him fearful. He called him mighty warrior. Gideon replied, "But how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest, and I am the least in my family." Sound familiar? That's what we do. We disqualify ourselves. We focus on what we're not, instead of who God says we are. But God wasn't interested in Gideon's excuses. He was interested in Gideon's potential. And He's interested in yours too. You may look in the mirror and see weakness, but heaven sees strength. You may feel small, but God calls you mighty. Stop telling yourself you're not enough when God says you're more than a conqueror. Romans 8:37 says, "In all these things we are more than conquerors through Him who loved us." Not in some things, not in the easy things, in all these things. That means in the heartbreak, in the loss, in the uncertainty, in the betrayal, you are still more than a conqueror. And let me remind you, strength isn't always loud. It doesn't always roar. Sometimes strength is the quiet decision to show up one more day. It's the whisper in your soul that says, "I will not give up. I will not back down. I will not let this break me." God never promised a life free of battles, but He did promise you'd never fight them alone. Isaiah 41:10 declares, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you." That's not a maybe. That's a promise. That's an anchor when everything around you is shifting. What you're facing right now might feel too big for you. That's okay. It's not too big for God. What's ahead of you might be unclear, but God never asked you to see the whole path. He just said, take the next step. Keep believing, keep standing, keep praying. Because God is not finished with your story. Don't let one chapter convince you that the book is over. Some of the greatest breakthroughs come right after the greatest pressure. When a seed is planted, it goes underground. It's dark, it's lonely. Nothing looks like it's happening. But beneath the surface, something is breaking. Something is shifting. Roots are growing. Strength is forming. And in time, that seed will break through the surface. That's you. You've been buried by setbacks, by silence, by the weight of the world. But you are not buried. You've been planted. And planted things don't stay hidden. They grow, they rise, they bloom. This is not the end of you. It's the beginning of your breakthrough. God's strength is being perfected in your weakness. You may not feel strong, but your strength is not in how you feel. Your strength is in who God is. So lift your head, straighten your back, square your shoulders. You are not defeated, you are being developed. Gideon didn't feel like a warrior when God called him, but by the end of his story, he led a nation to victory with just 300 men. Not because he was confident in himself, but because he finally believed what God said about him. Believe what God says about you. You are bold. You are chosen. You are capable. You are resilient. You are stronger than you think. So unlock the power within, step into your identity, and walk in the strength that's been waiting for you all along. Your best days aren't behind you. They're waiting, and they're closer than you think.